was sentenced to death, but I think we're going to see a lot of celebrating in the street. That was the case when he received his death sentence in Shia parts of the country, certainly in Shia parts of Baghdad, and in the north in Kurdistan. There was a lot of people celebrating in the street, dancing, getting out, waving banners, playing music, and I think that's something we're going to see again, whether or not we hear the celebratory gunfire. You know, just before I was ready to go on with you,
about what Saddam has been doing in the hours leading up to the time we are now, which is apparently the preparations are complete. He's in the execution chamber.
Actually, Greta, just to bring in this, Al Arabiya television reporting, Saddam Hussein is dead. That's Al Arabiya, the pan-Arab TV channel, is reporting Saddam Hussein has been hanged for his part in the deaths of 148 Shiite men and boys in the town of Dujail back in 1982. We're waiting for official confirmation from the Iraqi government, or perhaps the Iraqi military, or the judicial branch of government. But we're hearing from Al Arabiya, from their sources, Saddam Hussein is dead. Greta?
And I assume Al Arabiya is one of the witnesses. I guess that's a good assumption if they're the ones that are first reporting that he's dead.
It could be. They've been breaking a lot of news throughout the night. We've been monitoring them carefully because they've been first with a lot of these final preparations. They were the first to report when the witnesses were in place, when the witnesses were gathering, who was going to be there. And I think it's a safe assumption that they were part of the media that was going to be inside to actually witness this, because, as I said, the Iraqi government will probably have to produce some kind of video to show the moment when Saddam Hussein is hanged, when he's executed, so that the Iraqis believe it for themselves. We're hearing this information straight off of Al Arabiya, bringing it to you direct, but that's something the Iraqis are going to be waking up to in the next hour or so.
Explain to Dave for the viewers, because they don't know how you got that information. You were talking about Saddam and suddenly broke in with the news that this Arab wire service is reporting his execution. Explain, you've got an earpiece in. Where are you getting this information from?
Sure, you know, down in the newsroom, where we are is an outside location, as you can see behind me. Down in our newsroom, we've got people monitoring Al Arabiya, Iraqiya, Al Jazeera, all these Arab satellite channels. There, as you speculate, might have somebody actually at the execution as a witness. When that comes in, our Arab speakers downstairs, our Arabic speakers, can instantly tell us what's going on. They read the crawl on the bottom of the screen, they're listening to the commentators, and when Arabiya broke that news, downstairs, one of the producers spoke in my ear just to let me know, Arabiya is reporting Saddam is dead. That's the way we bring it to you, and you know, it sounds a little old-fashioned just to relay the news by word of mouth and just to rely on what we're seeing on the TV, but you know, it's the first way we can bring the news direct. Sometimes it's not always accurate, but in this case, it sounds like Al Arabiya has some pretty accurate sources. They've been right on the money all through the night, and now it looks like they are the first ones to report, and hopefully we're the first to bring it to you, that Saddam Hussein has in fact been executed.
And we look behind you, it's still dark there. Dawn hasn't broken in Baghdad, so many people have been awakened to the news that the former president is dead. At least that's what one Arab wire service is reporting.
Right, you know, when we spoke to you the other night, a few nights ago, it was about half an hour later than now, and it was already pretty light here, so dawn comes very quickly. We've already had the first call to prayer of the morning. I want some speculation, we were doing it ourselves through the night, that in fact Saddam would be allowed to pray that one last time around 5:30, 5:35 in the morning, and then be taken off to the gallows, and that seems to be what happened, because we had the call to prayer. Then first Al Arabiya was reporting Saddam had been taken to the place of execution. By that we don't know if they mean the actual building or inside to the gallows, into the chamber, but then Al Arabiya broke with the news that he had in fact died.
All right, is his body going to be surrendered to his family? What's the plan now, assuming that indeed that report is correct, that he's dead?
Sure, you know, Saddam's daughter is in Dubai at the moment.
Michael Sharp. I'm also joined by John Alterman with the Center for Strategic and International Studies in D.C., and by Vali Nasser, author of the remarkable book, The Shia Revival, also with the Council on Foreign Relations. He joins me from Salt Lake City. Vali Nasser, if this is in fact true, if Saddam Hussein has been executed, your thoughts?
Well, I think it's an end of an era. It's an unfinished business from the U.S. invasion and occupation of Iraq.
Representative of Prime Minister Maliki, so probably a Shiite member of the cabinet, and also, interesting to us, there were several witnesses called victims, and I'm quoting, of Saddam's crimes, people probably Shiites who had lost loved ones over the years of oppression, and also a Muslim cleric was there as well to take any final words. So that is what we don't know, if there were final words. We heard from others who had seen Saddam Hussein in the last few days that he was in very high spirits, that he didn't show any signs of anxiety or fear facing his death. He said he was calm. He believed that he would be rejoined in heaven with other martyrs. He truly saw himself, at least that was his position to others. He saw himself as a martyr. He met briefly with his two half-brothers on Thursday. He gave both of those half-brothers some of his personal affairs, and he also gave his will and testament.
Justice Minister, he was one of Saddam Hussein's attorneys. Welcome, sir, and your reaction tonight, or tomorrow in Iraq. We've just been told by an Arab wire service that Saddam Hussein has been executed.
Well, he was expected, in fact, to be executed today as against Mr. Bush and al-Maliki, especially Mr. Bush. And I hope he's happy now.
Were the witnesses, any of his other lawyers there?
There's only one lawyer who is actually the son of the revolution